Okay. So if I do pop up from time to time, I'm just letting other people into the room, into the class. So for now, I'm going to start in a comfortable seat and finding your way to some sense of nice long spine. Take a moment just to give the shoulders a little roll. And today's class, it is a 1 hour class, but it is going to be based on the sequence that we teach normally on a Tuesday and Thursday early morning, which is called raw yoga and meditation. So there will be a short meditation at the end of the class, and we'll do shavasana and then the option to sit up for a meditation. That's completely optional, of course. Feel free to just stay in shavasana when we get there. Otherwise, you might like to close down the eyes. We'll just soften the gaze towards the floor. Check in with the breath to see where it's at. We have been doing the tapping to start most of our classes on the streaming series. So we'll do the same again, but first of all, I'm going to do something which is related to kind of balancing out. So we have central meridian, which starts kind of at the base of the spine and runs right up the center to the kind of bottom lip. And we have governing meridian, which starts at the base of the spine on the back of the body, runs up all the way over and connects the top lip. So we connect them together using what's called the hookup. Hands a little rub. Just kind of shake off the excess. And then take the middle finger of one hand and locate your belly button. So central meridian. And the middle finger of the other hand and find your third eye point or the space between the eyebrows, so the governing meridian. And just a little bit of pressure inwards and upwards on both. And then a few breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, excuse me. And if you do yawn or sigh, this is just a sign that the central and governing meridians have hooked up, have connected, so they've got that energy flowing in a nice circuit. And if it doesn't happen, it's okay too. You might hold for an extra breath if you wish. Or your sigh or yawn or your hookup might have been a little bit more subtle. We'll let that go, a nice little shake out with the hands again, and we'll start in the first of our 4 tapping points. So stomach meridian point on the cheekbones, 3 or 4 fingers, little taps, soft taps. Or maybe you prefer to just pause and hold. Maybe you prefer to give a little bit of massage. And breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth as we do the tapping. And soften, slow down that. And move on to point 2. So fleshy part just under the collarbones. That nice little target spot there, the sore spot. And tapping. Finding your rhythm. And finding that breath flow. And slowing that down. Maybe you pause, maybe you tune into that little massage. And we move to our 3rd point on the central meridian once again, and tapping on the thymus gland point. Stimulating that immune function, soothing the nervous system, all at the same time. Soft, slow breaths. And then moving to our 4th and final point, so reaching up underneath the armpits, or reaching around for a tap, finding your most comfortable kind of angle to reach into the base of the armpit, around about that kind of line of the nipples or the bra strap, and tapping in and underneath. This one might be nice one to massage as well, or just hold. Nice, 2 more breaths. And then let that settle. You might settle by giving yourself a little hug and reaching around for those points under the armpits just for the last breath. All right, give those shoulders a little roll. So, this pose is a little bit more kind of static, pose by pose. This practice is a little bit more static, pose by pose. So the first pose we're coming to is our shoulder opener. Now, you don't have blocks. You could do this up against the wall, come to standing and bring the hands and elbows to the wall like so. Hopefully the frame could send you all the way to the wall. Or you could bring the elbows onto the coffee table, or even a dining chair. It's normally about the right height. Otherwise, you can come to the blocks. If anything's a little tender, feel free to chuck your towel or your blanket over the top of it to soften it, and then sink in and adjust the position of the knees. So there's a sense of stacking hips over knees, and then start to allow the head to drop between the props, the chair, the blocks, whatever you're using, and so that the forehead is not resting on the prop. And a little bit of extra tone through the lower belly, almost like you're trying to corset in around the waist, so you get that sense of toning and stabilizing. Lengthening out through the shoulder space around the upper back. And then just notice for a moment the difference between a squeeze inwards of elbows towards each other and a drawing away, elbows apart. Notice how that feels across the upper back, exploring that space. Maybe you push the elbows forward away from you and draw the elbows back towards you. And notice the different sensations when you take those directions, those actions. Find another full breath. And we'll move back into a counter pose from here. Now you might just simply sit up, bend the arms behind you, open through the chest. Or you might come down, child's pose, forehead to the mat. And maybe you can put them together, hands interlace, child's pose. Beautiful, release from there. Come to hands and knees, we'll take cat-cow. Feel free to clear your mat. We'll come back to your mat. And just a little bit of moment of awareness of the wrists, with the wrists stacked under the shoulders, a few circles in each direction. And then maybe back and forth. And then we'll start to take that movement into cat-cow. So stroke the belly, lift the gaze, finding length through the spine. And then press the mat away around and dome. Broaden across the upper back. And move it through. Nice flowing movement of breath. Flowing movement, articulation through the spine. And one more. And then just a moment of child's pose. Settle back. And then we'll come to downward facing dog. Now I'm going to hold downward facing dog for a little while. So make sure there's a nice setup of the hands. So ground down through all of those base knuckles, particularly base of index, base of thumb. And a sense of rotation, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and explore movement to start with, a little bit of pedaling out through the feet. Gentle rock of the hips side to side, the knees cross the midline, and finding that sweet spot for you. So you might start to kind of almost paw at the ground to find that connection through the hands and find that stability across the shoulders, so that you can bring the kind of ears level with the biceps. Look for the length out through the spine. Maybe you keep a bend in the knees throughout while you're working the energy of gently straightening the legs and then sinking back into the bend of the knees. Finding the sweet spot for your pelvis. And will allow the length in the spine and maybe a little bit of length through the back of the legs as well. Settling into some semblance of stillness now. And we'll come into the practice of counting the breath. Finding a nice full inhale, a gentle, controlled exhale that matches the length of the inhale. And then counting your way through. Let's go for another 6 rounds of breath. Now, if you need to come out of the pose sooner, feel free, of course. If you are coming out of the pose, maybe down to tabletop or back to child's pose. And when you get to the completion of your 6th round of breath, and finding a gentle transition down, it might be nice to come forward a little, to bring the knees down from that tabletop position and then ease your way back. Taking child's pose and maybe turning the palms to face up. Or feel free to come up, sit on the heels, the shoulders a little, rinse out, and maybe the wrists a little shake. And again, you might open up behind you. One more breath. And then our next pose or series of spinal extensions. So come forward to the belly. We'll look at our back bends or spinal extensions from this belly down or prone position. Starting with baby cobra. Get out of the way. Okay, so baby cobra, press down through the tops of the feet. Get a sense of lift through the chest, elbows draw into the side body, shoulder blades towards the spine, length through the back of the neck, and then push down through the feet, see if you can lift the knees and find that sense of activation. Full breath. Nice, and then gently release from there. You might bring the forehead down, might bend through the knees, a little release out through the low back. And then taking a little bit further, coming up towards Sphinx pose. So forearms down to the mat, grip the mat with the fingers, sense of drawing back with the elbows. And this energy of the sternum lifting forwards and up. Same energy through the legs, so pushing down through the feet. The knees might not come off the mat here, depending on your anatomy, but it's a sense of sending the feet away from you, energy out through the toes, pushing the tops of the feet into the mat, feeling the fronts of the legs turn on. Sternum forward and up, broaden across the shoulders. One more breath. And then gently make your way down. And release once again. That might be heels two and a little rock side to side. Or it might be both together. And then one more. So options here. You might take another baby cobra and take it to active back Shalavasana position. You might take another Sphinx pose. Or the option is to come to an upward facing dog hold. So sit yourself, slide the hands further underneath the elbows,
Squeeze the elbows into the midline, press down into the feet, press down into the hands, start to feel the belly up off of the mat, push into the feet, lift the legs up off the mat. And there's a sense of the hips sinking forwards, lift the sternum up, length through the back of the neck and broadness across the chest. The space between the collarbones, space between shoulders and ears. Nice, full breath. Challenging pose to hold. Maybe 2, maybe 3 more breaths if you've got it. And then knees down, come on, up and out, and make your way back towards either a child's pose for a nice little release through the low back, or anything else that feels good. Again, it might just be sitting up. So then from here, normally what we do in this class is take a moment to work towards our inversion. So if that's where you're at, you know where you're going, go for it as per usual. We'll take about 3 or 4 minutes with this next section. I'm still building strength to work towards inversions. Going to come to dolphin pose. If you've got a block or something that you can use like a block to squeeze between the hands, take hold of that. Hopefully it's something that's going to help you keep alignment. So we're looking for the alignment of the elbows to stay pretty much shoulder width apart. Now if you have a belt or a strap, you can use a strap, create a little loop and loop it around that space so there's a sense of pulling out into that space as well. Anything that creates that alignment to give you a little bit of feedback. So there's the energy of pulling apart and the energy of squeezing together. And then tucking the toes, pressing down and working into dolphin. So you might keep the knees bent, just work on this idea of lifting and lowering through the knees, moving through the pelvis and slowly pressing the chest, the head back towards the thighs, the chest back towards the thighs. I'll take a couple of rounds here. Coming down for a break between rounds, if this is where you are at. So then a myriad of options for the next offering. So you might take dolphin again, with or without any of those props that you're using, and work a little bit more dynamic movement into your dolphin. So swimming dolphin, head forward towards the thumbs and press back. Leg lifts, nice control, lift of the leg and lower down. Control, lift to the other side and lower down. Or put those together, so drawing forward, lift the leg, draw forward, draw back, lower the leg, and doing that a couple of times each side. So you're working with dolphin, go for that. If you want to start to work towards getting the body upside down, working towards inversions, we're going to have a little moment at the wall. So if you come to a wall, if you have a wall within reach, and bring yourself to about a leg distance away from the wall, notice where the feet are in relation to that. Plant the hands and then bring the feet up to about that same point to try and create this L shape. So you might just keep it bent in the knees to start with, and then eventually work towards a sense of stacking the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the shoulders. But be mindful to start with. You might keep it a little further out, a little bit more of an angle to start with, and as the safety, stability and strength is there, working towards a little bit more of an L shape. Let's take about another 30 seconds or so, whatever you're working with, that dolphin, any of your inversions or that L at the wall. Let it all start to settle in.
Making your way back to your mat. We'll meet in a child's pose. In child's pose, an opportunity to notice the body, notice the breath. And then gently make your way over to the back. So, a little bit of work into the abdominal region, a little bit of stabilizing through those abdominal muscles. We'll start with a reclined position, knees stacked over the hips, heels about hip height. And we'll find this opposite arm, opposite leg kind of movement from here. So start with right hand anchored into left leg, and then left arm reaching back, right leg reaching forwards. Might be a little bit more up depending on where your low back is at, depending on the curvature of your spine and how stable you feel through the abdominals already. Depends on how low you want to take this leg. And so full inhale breath here, find length, and then the exhale, bring that left hand towards the right knee, this little tap, and then creatively untangle, reach to the other side. So reach and extend through right arm, left leg, and then bring it in. At the little tap point, create resistance. Try and create resistance through both legs, like pushing knee to hand, hand to knee, and then release, extend the other side. And try and keep that low back grounded into the mat as much as possible as you move through side to side. Finding a sense of fluidity, rhythm, or breath and movement flowing together. You might keep it a little simpler by reaching more upwards, or take it a little deeper, challenging the abdominals a little more. We're working a little bit more specifically to focus on the transverse abdominals here, so all those kind of side strapping, stabilizing abdominals. Let's take two more to each side. And for the last round, try and go at half the speed just to see what it's like. And then once you've finished, a gentle drawing of knees to chest. Maybe move those knees around. And then slide the hands in behind the knees. We'll find a little rock and roll up towards the seat. We'll try and catch in both pops. So, little rock. And of course, if rocking doesn't work for you because of your floor or your spine, just come out to the side and then come more meet. And catch in that Navasana. You might have heels down or heels floating, maybe legs together or apart. Try and find this length out through the low back, and maybe you reach the arms forward. Feel free to keep them here to support that lift. Beautiful. One more breath. And then gently bring your feet down, get the hands to the shins, maybe a little lift up, or maybe take the knees out wide for a little bit of Baddha Konasana to release. Nice, and then one more little moment of core work. So working with some stabilizing, once again, you might lengthen that kind of set up here between hips and heels. Try and find some tone through the low belly. Notice if the flare out in the space between the ribs and the hips gets really big. Try and draw ribs to hips, a little bit more tone, and then find a sense of flow. Can you stabilize here with the feet off of the ground? That's the challenge. If you can't, again, keep those feet out a little bit wider and just practice the lean back in the moment when you can. Just lift the heels and maybe balance. Otherwise, if you want to take it further, Start to add in a little bit of rocking and a little bit of exploration. Can you find balance and explore slowly lower with the shoulders each time, gentle lifting. It's kind of surfing action. We're working all those stabilizing muscles all around the edge, the lateral side of the abdominals. One more breath. And then release again. Might be feet down, little fold and release, or might be hands to the shins, little lift. And next pose is the standing forward fold. So you're in creative transition to get there. Again, you might sweep legs out to the side and just stand on up and then come into your fold. Or have a little play, little rock. See if you can plant the feet and transition your way up. Find the bend in the knees, belly to the thighs. And release, maybe it's the forearms that rest on the thighs. One more breath. And then curl up. Reach tall. And then hands come down through center. Okay, find your way to the top of the mat if you're not there already. We're going to move through 5 rounds of sun salutations. So if you're familiar with sun salutations, you know the pattern. Feel free to just go ahead. If it's a little bit newer to you or you just can't quite remember the pattern, sit with me. I'll be cueing it throughout. Otherwise, you've got your rhythm, you've got your pattern, you've got your own creative expression. Go for it. I'll let you know when we are on our last round. Soften into the knees. Inhale, reach the arms to start. Soft knees, hips back, forward fold. Flat back, hands to shins, lengthen. Knees bend, hands plant, step back, high plank. High plank, you can bring the knees down straight away or slowly lower them as you lower the chest and torso to the mat. Lift up your version of spinal extension. So maybe it's baby cobra, sphinx pose, or upward facing dog, or even that savasana. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. A little breath or two here in your down dog. Find your way to the top of the mat. Might be a walk, a step, or a hop. And find your way to a standing forward fold. And curl up to stand on your next inhale breath. Nice little reach, tippy toes optional. And then hands come down through. That's 1 round, 4 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale and fold. Hands to shins, flat back, halfway lift. Use bend, hands, plant, high plank. And option, you can skip this part of the flow by taking it to child's pose here, or once again, coming knees down to the mat. Option to hold in that low push-up, chaturanga. Lift up, baby cobra, up dog, any of those spinal extensions. And meet down dog. Breath in down dog. Transition to the top of the mat. And if you're working on that hop, find that little bend in the knees. Gaze to the space just between the hands. Fold. Right on up and out. Tippy toes. Exhale, hands through. That's 2, 3 more. Inhale. And forward on your way. Half lift. Hands plant, high plank. Option for that low push-up, or again, lower to the mat, supporting with the knees. Your spinal extension. And down facing dog. Moment to pause. Catch that breath. Smooth it out. Gaze at the place you want to land.
Little bend into the knees again. Feel free to walk or step. Otherwise, think about a little bounce, bounce, and then pounce. Fold. Rise up on the inhale. Little lift. Sink down on the exhale. Breathe here. 2 more. Reach tall. And fall. Flat back. Hands plant. Step back. Lower down knees or that low push up. Up dog, cobra. Down dog. Feel the breath. And think about the place you want to land if you're hopping. Power up through the feet. And a little hop forward. Fold over the legs. Curl up to stand. Seal it off. Hands to heart center. Final round. Inhale. And fold. Half lift. Hands plant. You might take a little hop if you're working with these hops. You can hop back. Land in maybe high plank, or eventually land in that low push-up position. Lift up dog. Take it to down dog. And last little hop forward. Maybe there's a little bit more boost, a little bit more jump, a little bit more spring in your step. A little play. See where you land. And fold. Curl on up. And seal it off. Nice full breath. We'll let that settle. A lot of movement, a lot of flow of energy. Notice the body, notice the breath. One more breath. Maybe a sigh out the mouth. Nice, let me give that a little shake. Alright, take what you need. Okay, so now we're going to move to our standing series. Now, you're on the long edge of your mat, sit nice and wide. Hopefully you can still see the camera wherever you're at. No need to move your mat because we will turn and face in a second. And then you can just switch and do the other side and turn to face the other way. Just, you'll work it out. I'm going to turn the right toes out and set up for warrior two. So the left toes are turned in slightly and shuffle in and adjust the foot. We're going to hold our warrior two for a few breaths here. So take a few moments to set up the alignment of the knee. Find that tracking up the midline of the foot. And find your sweet spot. Find the place where you want to settle into a strong long hold. Reach, extend the arms, extend through the fingertips. And then notice if the shoulders are trying to get you further forward in life. Bring them back, stack them over the hips. Stay with this nice long line. Extend, fingertips, reach, shoulders roll back a little bit. And then ground into the feet a little more. And see if you can get a sense of trying to draw energy up through your feet. So kind of pulling apart of the mat, and squeezing together and finding balance between those 2 points. Notice if the toes are gripping, can you lift them up off of the mat? And then find the energy in the center point for you. And maybe you gaze softly over that front middle finger so that the gaze comes slightly out of focus, just off into the distance. Keep activating the arms like you're pushing down and up. Maybe there's a tiny bit more space to sink a tiny bit deeper with the hips and into the bend of that front knee.
And then flip the front palm straight into the front leg. Get into this reverse trikonasana, reverse triangle, lengthen up through the spine. Beautiful. There's a moment of relief before we come back to side angle pose. So bring forearm to the thigh. Bring that hand to the back hip. And then reach the arm up towards the ceiling, find length upwards. Sink in. And then if you wish, reach over and forward, or scoot down to reach forward. Just a little bit more stability, a little bit more strength, a little bit more desire to make it more active. You might hover the forearm off of the thigh. Full breath. Look for the length. If the head's feeling heavy, you might have gone down too far, lift up a little bit more, reach. Feeling super strong today, maybe both arms reach, Dvihasta. Nice, and then inhale, rise up and out. Turn the toes in, hands to heart center. Moment of fold between sides, so toes in, heels out, soft knees if you wish. Start to fold over the legs. You might hold here statically or take a little bit of movement side to side or reaching through. Or if it's in your practice, you like to add a little twist. Or maybe bring the floor a little bit closer to the block. Alright, inhale back up. Okay, set for the second side. So you might be shuffling around on the mat, so you've got the same foot at the front, so you're still looking forward to the camera. Otherwise, then those left toes out. So it'll be left foot at the top of the mat if that's the way you're doing it. Back toes in, reach, extend into the shape. Find a little bit of movement. Drawing back and forth. And then sink into your sweet spot. Activate and stabilize through the legs. Notice where the shoulders are. Ground out through the feet. The sense of pulling together. Activation through inner thighs and pressing apart. Activation through outer hips. And find all that together. And we'll start focus on that drishti, that point of awareness over the front middle finger. This reach, this extension through both arms. Energy like you're pressing down and pressing up. And find one more breath. Notice if you're gripping the toes, can you lift them a little? And then push into the front foot, take it into straight front leg, reverse action. Beautiful. Come on down, side angle setup. So forearm to the thigh, top hand to the hip, and then maybe you extend it up. We'll sweep it through to reach extend. Find that sweet spot, particularly on this side. If I want to hover that forearm, I need to lift up a little bit higher. So find your stable place. If you want to add the extra challenge of lifting the forearm off, go for it. Keep looking for length up through the side. It's feeling strong today. Reach the bottom arm for Dvihasta. Keep pushing into the feet, almost like they're squeezing together. Use that squeeze together to rise up. Turn the toes in, hands to hips. Slide the hands down the legs, soften the knees, forward fold. Let's settle, maybe movement, maybe stillness. 3 more breaths. And soften into the feet, lean into the knees. Slowly come up. And then step onto the top of the mat. Give yourself a little shake out. Shake out through the feet. And then we'll come down to a seat, move through a few seated poses before we take Shavasana, and then our meditation. We'll take time. Nice mindful, lowering down. So I like to step forward, bring one foot back, bring one down. Nice. Okay, blanket. Nice little bit of a lift for the hips. So we come into a few forward folds. So let's start today with Baddha. I'm sitting on the edge of the blanket, have that pelvis tip forwards. Finding this nice lift and length. Like a little block support here, so that I've got some feedback, some back pressure. You might start with the hands on the knees, so you've got pressure down, pushing into something, but pressure up as well, something to push it up into. If that's feeling good, nice and stable, it feels great. You might grab the shins and start to work into a little bit of fold. Mindful that there's length happening from the lower back. And if it works with your anatomy, it really depends on where you're at, where the pelvic tilt is. You might take the elbows towards the knees and get a sense of coming forward like that as the elbows help to push down into the hip opener. And keep the sense of resisting back up with the knees into the elbows. And we'll find 5 more breaths here. One more breath, plus a little bit of extra length out through that lower back. And then gently ease your way back on up. Nice. Blocks out of the way. Single leg forward fold. We'll take a little bit more open today. So rather than that leg going straight ahead out in front of you from the hip, take it a little bit more out to the side. So I'm starting with my left, but start by the side, whatever works for you. And then sense of the other foot pushing into the thigh. You might, if the knees floating up in space and it feels a little bit vulnerable, bring the block back in for a bit of support or anything. So you've got a couch cushion or whatever you're using, a little bit of rolled up floating, anything that brings the floor a little closer so you've got back pressure. And a nice full length and lift. A little bit of reach forward, hands down. And maybe you fold down through the midline. And if that's way too much right now, you might just be back here, working on this length and lift, trying to get some sense of activation through the hamstring. This pose in a couple of stages. So first stage, either the lean back, maybe you're just sitting up, or the fold. And then we'll add some twist and rotation to come into folding over the leg. So if you're forward or back, back to neutral. And then get a sense of squaring the torso over that extended leg. Lift this up nice and tall, but try and keep grounded through the sit bones. There's a rocking of the pelvis forward and length out through the low back. And then you're going to take the opposite hand to the extended leg and reach it across. And then add a little bit of twist that way. If it feels good, you might bring the other hand next to the hip and add a little bit of gaze back. That feels like a nice gentle lever to lift you up into a twist. And then with that twist, start to work into a fold. And your fold might just be here. If there's a little bit more space, start to fold over the leg a little bit more. And maybe this hand comes, you reach over the thigh or the shin in a kind of crisscross action. And then come into the fold. If you can reach all the way to the foot, beautiful. If you prefer to hold the leg or the foot in a regular manner, feel free to do that. Keep looking for length out through the leg A sense of drawing the leg back into the socket as you press out through the heel and flex the toes back towards you. And we'll find another 3 breaths. And use some back pressure, hands into the ground or your leg or wherever it's out. After your 3rd exhalation is complete, slowly ease your way back up to stand. If you felt a little twisted, you might take a counter twist, reach back. If it's feeling amazing, really press down into the hand and press down into the shin and lift the hips up. Much like a little wild thing moment. And release. Okay, second side. Switch the legs. And again, find a little bit of pelvic tilt, a sense of grounding. And then you might be here, then you're back looking for that extra length out through the leg, nice active quadricep. You might be adding the block. Or you might be coming into full free balance, so this kind of active lifted position, or fold. And as you fold forward through here, keep that leg active, the downward pressure through the heel. Toes back towards you, leg into the socket. And you might have a little bend in the knee, nothing wrong with it. If that bend in the knee helps you keep everything active, use the bend. The bend in the knee puts your quadricep to sleep. See if you can find a way to keep it active. If that means coming into a little bit more bend, activating it and straightening it just a little, take that variation. One more breath here. And ease your way back up. We'll set for the twist and fold. So gently square the chest over the extended leg. And then maybe this opposite arm crosses over for the outer edge of the thigh or the shin. And you add a little bit of twist, trying to leave it too much, a sense of spiraling up. Maybe the hand comes back and goes over the shoulder for a moment. We'll keep it somewhat neutral. And then when you already come into the fold over that leg, you reach to frame the foot, take that crisscross action around the shin. As Janu Shirshasana. What is translated as head to knee pose. And it's more kind of properly performed as chest to thigh pose. So there's a little bit more tucking of chin to chest rather than trying to headbutt your own knee. 3 more breaths here. And ease your way back on up and out of there. And then maybe with a little counter twist, pressing down through the shin, down through the foot, and grounding down through this hand. Beautiful. Rotate your way around. Come on down. And we'll find our way to a little bit of spine extension before we come to Shavasana. You might like a block or a blanket handy to pop up the hips if you're going to take supported bridge, supported variation. Otherwise, come on down to your back. And just a moment to feel the spine long along the mat. Feel everything settle. And then introduce a little bit of pelvic tilt, rocking back and forth with the pelvis. Feel that low back ground into the mat as you rock the pelvis back. And then maybe you turn that into the movement of undulating bridges, lifting up and down. Or you might simply come into a little bit more stillness, lifting high enough to slide a block. or a bolster, rolled up towel, blanket, anything you've got underneath the hips. And to take you towards your waterfall pose. Or again, if the wall's handy nearby, you might take yourself over to the wall, shuffle the bottom against the wall, spin the legs up the wall, and find the support that way. If you prefer to finish it a little bit more active, with the hips enough to slide the hands underneath, tuck the shoulders under, and find your bridge pose. If you're feeling super active today, you want to take this into the wheel, feel free, your hands towards underneath the shoulders. Gently. Just really taking things where you're at. You're in supported bridge. Time for a few more breaths. You're in any other active position. Come on down, let it settle. Just sway the knees from side to side, or even take the feet wide enough apart to knock the knees in towards each other. And then we'll take it into a little bit of a spinal twist before we take Shavasana. So if you're still up in waterfall, come on down unless that's what you want to finish the practice. Otherwise, extend left leg, take right knee across, or any other variation twist that you have, which might just be simply rocking the knees from side to side. And again, if you want to take happy baby or anything else like that, that helps you settle into the stillness of Shavasana, go for it. Switching sides when you're ready. And then once you feel safe, you'll start to find your Shavasana shape, which might be legs long, lying on your back, arms out beside you. You might prefer to come to your side, take a fetal position with a little bit of cushion or bolster support, or even sitting up, or lying on your belly. Once you've found your Shavasana shape, allow the body to settle. Allow everything to ground into the mat. Allow a sense of softness through the face and the jaw. And a sense of surrender through the body. Allow everything to become more connected to the surface beneath. To release down till we can find this feeling of groundedness. And we'll settle into Shavasana for another 2 or 3 minutes. And then very gently, just allow the awareness to come back to your breath if it's not there already. Taking a moment to make a decision whether you choose to stay here in Shavasana or whether you come up to a seat as we move through a little bit of guided meditation. So finding your way to your comfortable place. Might be sitting up, nice long spine, feel the support of the blanket or anything else to help you find that stacking. Or just stay exactly as you are in Shavasana. And start simply by noticing where you notice the breath the most. Maybe you notice the breath as air moving across the top of the lip. You might notice it through the back of the nostrils, maybe in the back of the throat. You might like the imagery of the breath moving up and down through the central channel. You might feel the sensations of movement through the ribs, this expansion and contraction, the flow of your breath. And with your awareness on your breath and whatever place you notice it the most, start to deepen the breath just a little. And deepening the breath as if you're expanding those spaces, those places. Creating more space, for more oxygen, more space, a little bit more fluidity, a little bit more calm. And as we do in this practice, we'll close out with a positive vow. A positive vow from the practice of Buddhist meditation or loving kindness meditation. We send this suggestion, this desire out. And feel free to just simply listen or mentally repeat. Mentally repeating after me. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I find ease of heart. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings find ease of heart. You might like to fold the hands together in a prayer position at the center of the chest, or one hand on top of the other over that heart-centered space. And in the Sanskrit that comes with that, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Close on a shared breath together. As you're ready, finding a nice full inhale, lengthening up through the spine as you inhale, fill the body with breath. Exhale, sigh and release, let it all go. Thank you for practicing with me this afternoon, or if you're watching a recording, whatever time it may be. Have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your evening, and namaste.